If you don't value yourself, the world won't do it for you. I declare this as a fact. Yet, many people spend their lives begging for love, waiting for others to recognize their worth when they don't even acknowledge it themselves. They accept crumbs in relationships, friendships, and even at work. But here's the harsh truth. If you don't learn to stand your ground, people will walk all over you. If you don't respect yourself, others will use you. And if you keep waiting for someone to tell you that you deserve more, you'll be waiting your whole life. But this isn't meant to discourage you. It's meant to open your eyes. The good news is that you can change this. And today, I'll give you 10 simple steps to learn how to value yourself and love yourself more. But let me warn you, the last point is the most important of all. Once you truly understand it, you'll stop accepting less than you deserve, and people will start seeing you in a completely different way. So stay until the end, and before we continue, support this content by leaving a like, subscribing, and turning on notifications. Because if this video helps you, imagine what you could learn from everything else to come. Stop forcing your presence where you're not truly wanted. If you have to beg for attention, insist on being included, or justify your place in someone's life, then you're in the wrong place. And the worst part? You already know this, yet you stay, holding on to the hope that one day they'll realize your worth, that everything will change. But here comes the hardest truth you need to hear. If someone truly wants you in their life, you won't have to keep knocking on the door, hoping they'll let you in. Where you are valued, people make room for you. Where you aren't, they make you feel like a burden. Unfortunately, many people don't realize this until they've wasted too much time in relationships, friendships, or environments where their presence was tolerated rather than genuinely desired. The problem is that we've been taught to confuse persistence with interest, to believe that if we just try a little harder, give more, be more understanding, then one day we'll be appreciated. But that rarely happens. The reality is that when you have to fight for a place in someone's life, all you're really saying is, I don't care if you don't value me the same way, I'll stay anyway. And that's a huge mistake, because when people realize that no matter how much they ignore you, you'll still be there, they stop appreciating you. Knowing your worth isn't about pride, it's about dignity. If you have to force a relationship, it's not a relationship. It's an emotional transaction where you're the only one losing. So stop chasing people who aren't looking for you. Stop insisting on places where you aren't welcomed. You are a priority. And above all, stop wasting your energy proving your value to those who refuse to see it. Because when you truly matter to someone, you won't need to prove anything. And most importantly, when you learn to walk away as easily as they ignore you, you'll realize that peace is worth more than any forced relationship. The people who want to be in your life will be there, and those who don't, let them go. Think about how many times you've tried to save someone who never even asked for your help. How many times have you exhausted yourself giving advice to people who only listen out of politeness, yet do the opposite? And the worst, how many times have you felt frustrated because they ignored you, only to come back crying about the consequences you warned them about? Here's the truth. Not everyone wants to be saved. Not everyone is ready to listen. And not everyone deserves your energy. People learn when they are ready, not when you want them to. You may see their problem clearly, know exactly what they need to do, and have the best intentions in the world to help them. But if they aren't open to change, then you're just wasting your time. 446. Time is ironic. Many times, when you give advice but don't receive it, you end up looking like the villain of the story. People see you as someone who meddles where you're not wanted, as someone who criticizes rather than helps, as if you're imposing your point of view instead of offering support. So why wear yourself out? Look, this isn't selfishness, it's emotional intelligence. If someone truly wants your opinion, they'll ask for it. And if they're really ready to change, they'll do it with or without your insistence. Learn to stay silent when no one has asked for your advice. It's a sign of maturity, not because you don't care, but because you understand that everyone has their own process. Some lessons can only be learned through experience. Let people live their own failures, because sometimes the best thing you can do for someone is to let them stumble. Don't get frustrated when you see someone heading straight for a mistake you could have helped them avoid. Just observe, take a deep breath,
And remember, it's not your battle. The truth is, unsolicited words are wasted. If you spend your life trying to open the eyes of those who choose to remain blind, the only one who ends up exhausted is you. Let go of the need to fix other people's lives and use that energy to improve your own. Because at the end of the day, people do what they want, and you're not here to convince anyone of something they're not ready to understand. If you weren't chosen, move on. If someone hasn't told you something, don't insist. And I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. I'm talking about everything in life: friendships, jobs, opportunities. We were sold the idea that if we try a little harder, if we endure a little more, one day we'll get our turn. But that rarely happens. People choose what they want. If you were never made a priority, if you always end up as a second option, what are you still doing there? You can't force anyone to see you the way you wish they did. You can't convince a company to value you if they've already decided you're replaceable. You can't make a friend prioritize you if they only reach out when it's convenient. You can't force someone to choose you when they've already made it clear they won't. And here's the hardest part. When you insist on being where you weren't chosen, what you're really doing is telling yourself that you're not worthy of something better. The reality is, when you value yourself, when you know what you deserve, when you understand that your time and energy are the most valuable things you have, you stop waiting where there's nothing left for you. Yes, at first it's hard. It hurts to accept that sometimes you give more than you get. It stings to realize that someone you would have chosen without hesitation simply didn't choose you back. But it hurts even more to stay, settling for emotional crumbs from someone who never saw you as a priority. And let me tell you something you need to hear. What truly matters to you isn't the person, the job, or the opportunity. It's the fear of letting go. It's the insecurity of thinking that if you let go, you won't find something better. But you will. There is always something better. There are always places where people will value you, where they will choose you without you having to convince them, where opportunities will open doors for you without you having to bang on them until your knuckles bleed. But to find all that, you first have to make space. Let go of what wasn't meant for you. Because here's the truth. When someone truly values you, it shows. And when they don't, it also shows. If they didn't support you, don't depend on them. Here's an uncomfortable but necessary truth. If someone wasn't there for you in your hardest moments, don't fool yourself into believing they will be later. This isn't about resentment or pride. It's common sense. People who truly appreciate you don't disappear when you need them most. But we hold on to the idea that people will change, that one day they'll realize they failed us, that they'll come back asking for forgiveness, suddenly valuing what they never did before. But that's not how it works. If someone had the chance to be there for you and they didn't, it's because they didn't want to. They didn't care enough. And instead of waiting for miracles, you need to learn to move on without depending on those who have already shown you they're unreliable. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, "Do what you must, and let others do as they will." And that applies perfectly here. You can't force support from anyone. If someone chooses not to be there for you, let them go. If they don't give you the support you need, don't waste your energy on resentment. Instead, use that energy to learn how to move forward without depending on others. Because the only support that truly matters is the one that is given freely, not the one you have to beg for. Yes, it hurts. It hurts to realize that the people you would have helped without a second thought simply didn't do the same for you. It stings to know that when you needed them most, no one was there. But it hurts even more to keep waiting for something that will never come. So walk away. Stop relying on people who have already shown you that you can't count on them. Because real strength isn't about surrounding yourself with a crowd. It's about knowing that, if one day you have to walk alone, you can do it without fear. And believe me, when you learn to rely on yourself, you come back unbreakable. Stop wasting your time on those who never valued you. If someone didn't appreciate you when you were there, what makes you think they'll start now just because you keep insisting? Here's the raw truth. If they didn't value you when you were close, they won't do it when they see you're still available. Yet there you are, waiting, making excuses, giving endless chances to someone who has already proven they don't care as much as you'd like. And the worst part? You're not staying because you don't know you deserve better. You're staying because you're afraid to let go of the hope that one day things will change. That one day they'll see you differently. That one day they'll give you what they never did before. Let me save you years of heartache. That day will never come. If they didn't make an effort to have you when they had nothing else to do, they won't suddenly start when they realize you don't need their validation. The Stoics said that the greatest mistake people make is placing their happiness in things they can't control. You can't control whether someone likes you or not, but you can control how long you allow yourself to be treated as replaceable. So stop searching for signs where there's only indifference. Stop settling for crumbs, hoping for a feast. If someone didn't see your worth, the problem isn't you, it's their blindness. Instead of wasting your energy trying to be recognized, invest it in surrounding yourself with people who appreciate you without you having to prove anything. Because here's something that can change your life. The moment you stop begging for validation, people will start seeing you differently. Not because they magically change, but because the confidence in your decision to walk away is the ultimate test of your self-worth. So stop holding on to someone who couldn't see your value. When you truly matter to someone, you don't have to remind them of it. And when you don't, nothing you do will make a difference. If they wanted you to be part of their life, they'd make it clear. If they haven't, then you already have your answer. We exhaust ourselves trying to be included in conversations where we weren't invited, in plans where we weren't considered, in lives where we were never meant to be. That's a brutal waste of energy. The philosopher Epictetus said, "Worry only about what is within your control. And whether someone includes you or not, that's up to them, not you." If you notice that conversations end when you arrive, that you always find out about plans too late, that information is constantly hidden from you, don't drain yourself trying to figure out why. Just walk away. Insisting on knowing what they won't tell you will only make you feel out of place. If you're being excluded, there's a reason. And as painful as it is, the best thing you can do is accept the message and move on. People talk to who they want, share their lives with those they care about, and make space for those they truly value. If you're not on that list, your energy is better spent elsewhere. This doesn't mean isolating yourself or cutting ties with everyone. It means learning to read the signs and not forcing connections where there is no reciprocity. Because the truth is, those who want you in their life will include you. And those who don't, no matter how much you try, they'll never give you a real place. So stop asking why you're being left out and start focusing on those who include you without you having to beg for it. True peace comes when you stop chasing what isn't meant for you. If it's not for you, don't waste your energy waiting. There's a golden rule in life that will save you from many disappointments. Those who want to be there will be, and those who don't, won't. Yet we struggle to accept the obvious. We spend our lives waiting for messages that never come, calls that never ring, invitations that never arrive. Instead of facing reality, we make excuses. Maybe they're busy. Maybe they didn't see my message. Maybe they don't know how to say it. But no, when someone truly wants to see you, talk to you, or be around you, it shows. It doesn't matter how busy they are. If they care, they'll make time for you. And if they don't, it's because they simply don't want to. Period. The Stoics spoke of detachment as the key to inner peace. Suffering over what you can't control, like someone else's attention, is pointless. If you have to chase someone to stay in their life, you've already lost. It's like trying to make a plant grow by shouting at it. No matter how much you insist, if the soil isn't fertile, nothing will grow. Yet we keep watering where there are no roots. We keep waiting where there's no interest. And the worst part? The time we waste on those who don't seek us out could be spent with people who value us, on projects that help us grow, or on ourselves. So stop waiting for someone who has already shown they have no intention of coming back. Stop counting the days without news. Stop checking your phone every 5 minutes. Stop living in the hope that one day they'll realize your worth. Because people don't suddenly change their level of interest overnight. If they haven't looked for you by now, they probably never will. And yes, it hurts. But it hurts even more to waste time on something that will never happen. Learn to read reality as it is, without sugarcoating it with excuses. Absence is also an answer, and sometimes it's the clearest one of all. So instead of suffering over someone who doesn't seek you out, start focusing on those who are present. And if no one is, then this is the perfect moment to learn to enjoy your own company. Because when you stop waiting for others, you'll realize that the person who truly needs to find you is you. Keep them out of your life. There's no middle ground here. If someone disrespects you once and you let it slide, they'll do it again. It's that simple. The worst part is that we often excuse these small violations thinking it wasn't a big deal, that they didn't mean it, or that it's just their way of being. But respect is not negotiable. You can't go through life allowing people to treat you however they want. What you tolerate once becomes the standard. If they raise their voice at you and you ignore it, soon it'll become a habit. If someone makes you feel small and you don't put an end to it, they'll keep doing it. It's like walking on a slippery floor. If they don't feel the fall, they'll keep walking carelessly. Set boundaries from the beginning. That doesn't mean being aggressive or closed off. It means valuing yourself, because in the end, people treat you according to what you allow. Confucius once said, "A person's worth is defined by the boundaries they set." So, what about you? Do you let people minimize you in conversations? Do you laugh at disrespectful comments just to avoid seeming sensitive? Every time you stay silent in the face of disrespect, you give that person permission to continue. The real problem? Over time, this becomes your normal. You start believing that being treated this way is something you just have to accept, when, in reality, it's something you could have stopped from the start. Here's the key. Respect is not asked for. It is demanded. And you demand it through your actions, by what you tolerate and what you don't. If someone crosses the line and you let it go, you're telling them there are no consequences. If someone constantly disrespects you, makes you feel less than, and shows no regard for you, do yourself a favor and walk away. Don't waste your time trying to change them. Don't spend your energy explaining basic human decency to someone who doesn't understand it. Respect is the foundation of any healthy relationship. If it's missing, the best thing you can do is leave with the same dignity you had when you walked in. If they didn't love you, they didn't love you. Don't humiliate yourself begging for love. Love is not negotiated, much less begged for. If someone doesn't love you, there's nothing you can do to change that. You could be the most caring, devoted, and unconditional person in the world, but if they don't feel the same for you, none of that will make a difference. And yet, so many people waste their dignity in relationships where love is clearly one-sided, where they give 100% and receive 10%, where they justify the other person's indifference with excuses like, they just don't know how to show it, or, maybe one day they'll see my worth. But here's a truth that hurts, yet sets you free. If someone truly loves you, you won't have to wonder. You'll just know. If you have to ask yourself, the answer is already clear. Existentialist philosophers like Sartre have said that the greatest mistake humans make is forcing meaning where there is none. And that's exactly what we do when we insist on being loved by someone who simply doesn't feel the same way. We invent signs where there are none. We mistake simple courtesy for affection, cling to the smallest gestures, and settle for emotional crumbs, believing that something is better than nothing. But it's not. Nothing is actually better because when you accept a love without passion, you lose the ability to choose. You make that person a priority while waiting for something that will never come. And the worst part? You get used to it. You start believing that this is all you deserve. Stop wasting your love on someone who has no intention of returning it. Love doesn't work by force or sacrifice. If someone doesn't love you the way you love them, the best thing you can do is accept reality and move on. Yes, it hurts at first, but it hurts more to stay where you're not truly welcome. Because when love is real, you don't have to guess. There's no need to decode it, no need to beg for it. If you're not receiving love the way you give it, stop wasting your time on someone who will never see you the way you deserve to be seen. And if they don't respect you, don't tolerate it. Respect is not a luxury, not a favor. It's a basic right. Yet many people complain about being disrespected while continuing to endure cruel comments, mistreatment, and lack of consideration, as if nothing happened. Here's the truth. When you let someone disrespect you once without consequences, you're teaching them they can keep doing it. People will only go as far as you allow them. Since ancient times, thinkers like Aristotle have spoken of dignity as